Hello viewers, my name is Tyler Marchand, and today I'm going to be talking about my picks for the best hit songs of 2005. This video is coming out a day early because I'm a college student, and perhaps the final that I am worried about the most is on Monday morning, so I wanted to dedicate all of Sunday to preparing for that test, but I still want to get this video out for you guys. Now, 2005. I mentioned at the end of my last video that this is starting a very nostalgic time frame for me. Towards the end of the summer of that year, I started doing karate as an extracurricular activity. I did it through the winter of 2009 for 3.5 years. During that time, the studio played lots of popular music from that time frame, and as such, I grew to love a lot of those songs. Classics like Yeah from last year and others that I will talk about in future videos were played constantly, but not all of them were good. Think of Crank That as an example. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. It would be an understatement to say that 2005 had a massive drop in quality for music, and while I don't think it was bad overall, it is certainly the weakest year of the 2000s that I've covered so far. The bad songs were a special breed of atrocious, which reminds me of something. I decided not to do worst lists for these past years because I knew that if I did, I would eventually have to cover 2005, and I, for the life of me, can't find a way to rank what I refer to as the Three Stooges for this year. If you know what songs Moe, Larry, and Curly represent, I'd like some arguments on how to rank those songs, because I, for the life of me, can't. They seemed almost equally atrocious in how disgusting they are. Anyways, however, at the same time, 2005 had some phenomenal classics that I still hear a lot of to this day. Enough dilly-dally. My regretted omission from last year is Confessions Part 2, so let's get started with 7 honorable mentions. I like the Foo Fighters quite a bit. The Seattle-based rock band formed from former Nirvana drummer Dave Grohl has made some rock classics over the years, with personal favorites being Everlong and Times Like These. This would regrettably be their only Billboard hit, and it is an anthem asking for us to be better in our lives. Dave bears his soul all out there, especially in the chorus, and the rest of the band accompany him well. I rarely hear this song today, and it truly is a shame. Oh, don't give me that look. When you have a piano riff that unforgettable, how was I going to leave this off the list? In the song, Gavin DeGraw is reflecting on moving out of his hometown, with the chariot being the vehicle taking him away from what he is most familiar with. People tend to bag on this song for some wacky lyrics, and yeah, some of them do have a Pat Monahan-esque feel to them, but again, how do you turn your back on such an instrumental? I hear the song very frequently today, and it just puts a smile on my face. The instrumentation starts off very basic, but by the latter parts of the song, interesting trumpets, I think they are being played, which are just fun to listen to. And then there's the lyrics, where Kanye is telling a story about a manipulative woman with kids who will rope you in and force you to stay, accompanied by too many interesting lines to mention in the course of this segment. Anyways, this song is awesome, but you already knew that. I hear this song more frequently than Chariot, and while I'll say that I'm not as wild about this song as Chariot, yeah, come at me, I still like this song quite a bit. In this song, Gavin is trying to tell people not to tell him how to live, but the main draw of the song for me is, again, the instrumentation, mostly the guitar licks prior to the verses. By the way, this is yet another case of an artist taking a long time to blow up, as this song was originally released back in 2003. Speaking of 2003, while Matchbox 20 had their last major hit back in 2003, Rob Thomas would continue to have some solo success in the years following. I might not like this song as much as Ever the Same from that same solo project, but I still love the song all the same. Rob Thomas is trying to get over heartbreak, and the instrumentation really fits the mood of the song, especially in the chorus. If you aren't familiar with this song, check it out. I don't know if I got this across in my 2003 video, but I grew up listening to and loving Coldplay. This was their only major hit from their third album, X and Y, and while I wish that songs from that album like The Hardest Part or Fix You were hits, I still can't resist the piano riff of this song where Chris Martin is reflecting on the wonders of life, inspired by the birth of his daughter. If you haven't heard this song before, rectify that. Okay, those were my honorable mentions. But hold on, didn't I say there were 7? Oh yeah, that's because I had made this video earlier today and uploaded it, but got a copyright claim for Ordinary People. So there, that is the 7th honorable mention. While some of said mentions may have been controversial, I feel that this may be the first list where every one of my top 10 proper songs is universally agreed upon as fantastic. What are they? Number 10. As a sign of how good the most successful songs of 2005 were, 5 of the 10 biggest hits of 2005 are going to be talked about in this video. I've already mentioned one as an honorable mention, namely Gold Digger, but for the top 10 proper, let's start things off from the top. Ladies and gentlemen, the number 1 song of 2005 and the biggest hit song of the 2000s decade. This song is easily Mariah Carey's best hit song that I've covered so far, and a very emotional one at that. From the pianos that open up the song to the acoustic guitars that form the backbone of the instrumentation, this is a song where Mariah is reflecting on how she rebuked a guy, but is immediately regretting it. I'm roped in by Mariah's fast talk singing style in the verses, but she easily hits her peak in the final chorus, and we are left with a song that I hear sporadically today, and I enjoy listening to whenever I hear it. Number 9. Speaking of emotional songs, I told you we'd be getting to the best of Kelly Clarkson eventually. As a sign of how much of a downgrade 2005 was from 2004, even though this song is in my top 10 proper, I don't love it as much as Breakaway, which was a 2004 honorable mention. But do not take that as a criticism of this song at all, since it is still phenomenal all the same. In this piano ballad, Kelly is reflecting on how her father abandoned her while she was a kid, and how it has damaged her ability to trust in anyone. The fact that this song was written while she was a teenager is impressive, but the true impressiveness comes in her vocal performance, especially in the bridge. From the "I watched you die, I heard you cry" to the impressive high note that closes out the bridge. Reno adult contemporary stations seem to like to play Kelly Clarkson songs a lot, so I hear this song frequently. I'm glad that I do, since it is simply beautiful. Number 8. Okay, you've heard me say where I live multiple times across my videos. In fact, I just referenced it not 15 seconds ago. So this is a song that you should have seen coming a mile away, just from the fact that I live in the same state where this act comes from. Granted, whenever any musical act is from Nevada, they're going to be from Las Vegas inevitably, which tends to be the only part of the state that anyone outside of the Mountain West seems to acknowledge exists. But even without the home state affiliation, this song would still have made this list. Yes, the first verse is practically recycled for the second verse, but it still captivates me with the same power as in the first one. Brandon Flowers has gone through a bad breakup after catching his girlfriend cheating on him, and his thoughts about her touching this other guy's dick. Oh, wait, no, he didn't say that. He said chest. These thoughts are torture to him. Despite the tormenting lyrics, the song has a very upbeat feel, but I don't think it could have worked any other way. This would be the only hit that the Killers would have, which is a fucking crime, since they have several other classics under the belt, like Jenny Was a Friend of Mine, Smile Like You Mean It, Somebody Told Me, and Spaceman. And, since I live in Nevada again, I still hear this song quite a bit today. Of that, I am pleased. Number 7. I've mentioned this in my 2018 Best List video, that once was a contention that many viewers might have with me on a personal level is the fact that I am an unapologetic Republican. Now, I really try not to let a musician's political views influence my thoughts on a song, since I think that that is unfair. There are times, however, when I can't really do that. Songs like Chained to the Rhythm for 2017, knowing Katy Perry's political views makes the lyrics of that song very hypocritical in my eyes, in not just a musical viewpoint, but also in a political one. If I flat out refuse to listen to songs that came from people who openly support the Democratic Party, Best of You wouldn't be an honorable mention. Yeah, that was a Kerry 2004 campaign song, and this song would have stood no chance in hell. It wasn't until my teen years that I started actively listening to Green Day, and I liked their style of punk rock quite a bit. And 2005 was a big year for the group, with this politically charged song being a decent-sized hit. The message of the song is basically, fuck W, but I love the song thanks to the rocking instrumentation. Plus, it's just fun to say, the representative from California has the floor, although I am curious as to the selective censoring across certain Reno radio stations for "Kill all the fags that don't agree." Yeah, this song still gets played quite a bit today, and I will put aside my political views to enjoy this song all the same whenever it comes on. Number 6. I regret to say that this song doesn't get played that much today. I've got one question. Why? Why isn't this phenomenal power ballad played anymore? After hiatus, the Backstreet Boys reunited and have been together ever since, although this is their only major hit since that reunion. Right next to Larger Than Life, I'd say that this is my favorite song of theirs. The lyrics aren't that special, basically lamenting that a relationship is broken and no longer exists, but the true stars of the show come from the instrumentation and the vocal performance. When the song starts, you get the impression that it is going to be a simple piano ballad with occasional guitars throughout, but after the first chorus ends with incomplete, a symphony of strings, piano, and guitars come in, and it just sounds wonderful. Talking about the vocals, the boys give out a very emotional performance, as demonstrated in the choruses. If by some fluke I ever hear this song on a Reno radio station, I will be a happy camper. Number 5. There are some songs that you wish had gone to number 1, but inevitably got blocked from the top spot. However, thanks to such a high charting position, as well as longevity, the song still winds up being a top 10 year-end hit, and in a case of true justice, the song winds up higher on the year-end list than the song that blocked it from the top spot. You all know where this is going.
I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams.
When people think of Green Day, this is the first song that pops into their heads, and for great reason. By far their biggest hit, the lyrics of the song mainly detail Billy Joe Armstrong wandering some cold and abandoned streets as he reflects on himself and his life. The star of the show comes in the instrumentation, with the echoing guitars that open up the song to the solo, and the sudden tone shift in the guitars for the last 40 seconds of the song. As Green Day's biggest hit, I still hear this song very frequently, so when I do hear it, I will enjoy every second of it. Number 4. Alright everyone, bow down to the queen of breakup anthems. This is Kelly Clarkson's biggest hit song, and as you can tell by its high position on this best list, I love it. In this song, Kelly is reflecting on how she dreamed a certain relationship would turn out, but comes to accept that it failing was probably the best thing that could have happened to her. The verses are relatively soft rock, with the choruses bringing out the heavy electric guitars and Kelly's strong vocals. Perhaps my favorite part of the song comes during the bridge, where Kelly's strong vocals give way to a brief guitar interlude, which I always listen for whenever I hear this frequently played song. Number 3. Okay, time to wrap up the trifecta, don't you say? Out of the 3 Green Day songs to become hits in 2005, this is the one that I hear the least often, which I do not understand, since I don't think I would ever get sick of hearing this song over and over again. That's how much I like it. The most personal of the 3 Green Day tracks, Billy Joe is reflecting on how his life has changed in the years since his father died when he was just 10 years old. The rest of the band, however, steal the show from me. The song starts off with simple acoustic guitars for the first verse and chorus, before bringing out the heavier instruments for the second round, culminating with a guitar solo that I always listen for. Is this my favorite Green Day song ever? No. I mean, listen to Longview and tell me that the bass line for that song isn't infectious. Anyways, I think that we're going to start wrapping up this list pretty soon. Number 2. Well, you should have seen this entry coming from a mile away.
Windmill, windmill for the night, love forever high. Take it all out on your stride.
Gorillas are an interesting group. A combination of two-dimensional and three-dimensional characters. This British alt-rock group have been around for almost 2 decades now, but most people tend to only recognize 2 songs of theirs. The first is Clint Eastwood, which I love by the way, and would have been top 3 material if it had been a year-end hit back in 2001. And their second is this song, their only major hit, and one that stuck around for quite a while. It's been close to a year on the charts. According to Genius, the lyrics are supposed to be about criticizing escapism, but in what is perhaps a cardinal sin for a music critic, I've never really stopped to think about what the lyrics are supposed to mean. That's because the instrumentation steals the show for me. The main draw is the guitar riff that plays throughout the verses, along with the tone shift between the second verse and the second chorus. Just a gorgeous part of the song. And then there's the lyrics, the way the lyrics are delivered. From the maniacal laughs that start out and end the song to De La Soul's part. I mean, I just love doing laughing gassies, hazmats, fast cats, lining them up like ass cracks. I'm glad that this song still gets played today, for it is amazing, but not quite number 1. What was better? Excuse me. Number 1. You've probably noticed so far that for the past 4 videos, my picks for the best hit song of those particular years were year-end top 10 hits. This year is going to make it 5 years in a row, but only barely. That right there was the giveaway, so let's dive into yet another trifecta conclusion. Out of the breakaway songs that became hits, Behind These Hazel Eyes is the one that doesn't get the airplay that I think it deserves, since it is, for me, the best of those songs, and one of her best hits, period. That doesn't mean that I don't hear it, I just wish I heard it more. And yet this is yet another breakup anthem in the same vein as Since You've Been Gone. But what makes this song more special than that one already was is the instrumentation, mostly the build-up to the chorus from the pre-chorus. And of course, you have Kelly Clarkson and her vocal performance throughout. She is relatively subdued in the verses. It starts to pick it up in the pre-chorus with the "No, I can't breathe, no, I can't sleep," and culminates with her super high note that she hits at the end of the bridge. For those reasons, Behind These Hazel Eyes is my pick for the best hit song of 2005. Well, that was my video. If you liked the video, share it with others so I could expand my audience. Subscribe so that you'll see whenever I have new content out, or just leave a comment below. I just ask that you be kind with what you say, as always. Next week, we're going to look at 2006, so stay tuned for that. Until then, I'm Tyler Marchand, and I'll see you next time. Take care.